The sun's coming up, the drinks are hot, and now it's time for our first cup. Today, on fire. The air doesn't smell or taste like ash today, and for that I am thankful. As of this recording, the Los Angeles fires are still burning. And like many things in Los Angeles, their magnitude is astoundingly large. Over 130,000 people displaced, over 12,000 structures, homes burnt, over 20,000 acres of land just charred. Huge. When I talk about the magnitude of things here in LA being bigger, generally, that's not a judgment of them being better or worse. It's just a description of the reality of things. And part of that magnitude that I want to tell you about today, related to the fires, is that there's a lot of good in people. Like a lot. There's the donations of time, of money, of food, of clothing, right? There's people opening up their businesses and homes. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of good around me. I am surrounded by good. If you look on social media, that might not be the impression that you get. If you watch the news, that might not be the impression that you get. But I'm telling you, right now, there is a lot of good going on, and a lot of people are good. In order to see it, in order to see that people are good, you really have to look for it, because even right now, while the fires are still going on, and while people are actively giving, actively putting in to try and help ameliorate this situation, the biggest fires that have ever happened in LA County, it's still not breaking through. But it needs to break through. One of the reasons it's not breaking through is because so much of the good that is being done, so much of the good works that people are doing it's just humble, right? It doesn't make for a good human interest piece. It doesn't necessarily make for good political fodder. It doesn't make good news. It doesn't make headlines. Ugh, I just realized I just said it doesn't make good news. No, it doesn't make attention-grabbing news, right? It doesn't feed the algorithm what it wants to be fed and what it wants to feed us in turn. Like, people are so good that there are places all over LA County that had to stop taking donations because they didn't have any more capacity to do so, right? The magnitude of this place is amazing. And I'm thankful for it right now, because it's also made the magnitude of the good that is being done undeniable. At least if you're here, at least if you're looking around, at least if you're like involved in what's going on, it is impossible to ignore if you're here. But if you're not here, you know, as big as LA County is, we only have 3% of the US population. That means that 97% of the population is not here. And if you're in that 97%, if you're not connected to somebody here, you're going to see all of that torture porn, all of that political porn that you're being fed. right? The salacious, the conspiratorial, the continually discussed, the anxiety-provoking. But I'm telling you, that's not the big story here. Los Angeles is still burning. Yes. But so are the hearts of the people who live here. So is the good that they are doing. Why is this so important? Two reasons. One, as I mentioned, the reality of people is not being distributed widely, and it must be heard. But two, we all need reminders that good is possible, right? It's really easy to forget that there are a lot of ways and a lot of things that people do that are fundamentally good, not just for themselves, but for people beyond them. And right now is a sterling, shining example of it happening at a scale that is undeniable. And I want to try and impart a little bit of that to you, because if you're seeing people doing good, it's more likely that you're going to do good. Hell, I'm a relatively optimistic man, and I feel inspired by this, you know? And I hope to pass a little bit of that on to you, because the reality is that it might not be today, and it might not be literal, but at one point or another, every one of us is going to find ourselves on fire. And when we do, we need to do good, and we need to be good to ourselves and to each other. Please remember, no matter what you've heard or what I've said, death comes for us all, and a closed mouth never gets fed. Take care of yourselves. There's a link in the description for donations. We'll speak again soon.